Hello, sir. It's a pleasure to talk to you today.
Thanks, Andrew.
The first thing I want to know is what drew you to this story? It is such an incredible, weird, wonderful tale. But what was the thing that got your attention?
All of the above, uh, including I felt the character of Howard. I thought would be fascinating to get into to pull back these layers of who this person is. Um, he's a mix of kind of uptight, sort of nerd, highly intellectual, but sensitive, emotional, playful type of person, and we didn't see any of that in the documentary. I mean, we saw very, very, very little of that. And I said, we need to see who this guy is, and we need to see him in a relationship with Carole. So what is that dynamic about? How do they interact as a couple? What are they like behind closed doors? And so that was our journey.
How did you relate to him? Was there something about him? I mean, on some level, maybe of his relationship with Carole that you could relate to, or what did you think of him? I guess.
Well, he has tremendous empathy, and he's very understanding. And like to think that I'm similar when things come my way or something happens. To try to feel first and then react from that. But instead of like a knee-jerk reaction or a negative reaction, it's like, oh, let's just get a feel for what's happening here before we overreact. And I think he's very much like that. I think he's a very thoughtful person. I think he takes his time. And I thought, oh yeah, these are some things that I can relate to. He's also quite playful. I tend to be a little playful as well. I like to work hard, but it's also nice to have fun at the same time. And I felt like he is kind of in that realm. He gets a big kick out of his wife. He gets a big kick out of the eccentricities of his wife. And I do the same, not with my wife necessarily, but with the people around me. I love quirky behavior. It just endears itself to me. And I think there's some of that in his personality as well.
What was Kate McKinnon like to work with for this story? Because she has such a great way of embodying, I think, what we imagine Carole to be. So
Yeah.
how is she as a scene partner?
She's amazing, you're absolutely right. I think Kate in life is quite shy and quiet and reserved, a little introverted. Kate as a character is ferocious and like a force of nature. So we got along like a house of fire. She was wonderful. She's very inventive. She's very present as an actor. She's right there with you in the scene. She's willing to go in any direction that the scene goes. She's fearless. She has no inhibitions when you're doing the scene. She's. I think when we're not doing the scene, she's kind of quiet and contained. But when you're in the scene, anything is possible. You can go any direction, emotionally, physically. You just don't know. And it made for some really, I just think, some fantastic work. I think she does an amazing job in this.
Well, the last thing I want to know is I love the way this show balances. There's a sense of comedy, the sense of seriousness, the heart, kind of what the Baskins were all about. For you, how do you think audiences are going to respond to this representation of the story?
It's such a good question. I have no idea. We're sort of poised, and I just don't know how they're going to receive this. I can't tell what the expectations are. I think we're going to shatter the expectations because I think people are thinking, oh, it's going to be something like we've already seen before, and it's nothing like that. I mean, yes, it's a little over the top. Yes, it's crazy. There are things that happen that are very difficult to see, that are outrageous behavior. But I think in this case, it's all done with heart. And there's a sense of pathos that I think is there, and this is what it was missing, I think, in the documentary. So I feel like we've potentially have something I think quite wonderful here. I just don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I can't wait to see how audiences respond. I know I loved it, so thank you very much for the time.
Very kind, thank you.